Papa Doc, what you gonna do? Welcome to another very special episode of Navigating the Modern World with Eli. Glad you could all join me here today for another very special impromptu correcting the record stream. Yes, I had to do another one of these. Our dogs are barking a little bit because, when I amp things up, a little bit to emphasize how I'm feeling, they think like there's something wrong, but nothing is wrong. All is well. I've got a great yet very important show to present to you here today. It's going to be an hour or less because I'm limited on time, and I'm going to do my best to get all the information here to you folks. But before we get to that, let me first of all, as always, make sure that everything is rolling smoothly. Let me check out the back end of YouTube. The back end of YouTube is rolling well. Let me also make sure that the YouTube notification went out. Looks like it did. And let me do a sound check. Yes, I had to do another one of these. Our dogs are barking a little bit because, when I amp things up. All right. Let me start off first by getting right to it and sharing the title of this stream. The title of this stream is More Record Correcting and Why the Defendant Has Done This for 6+ Years to Many. One more time. More record correcting and why the defendant has done this for 6+ years to many. We're going to completely dissect the behavior of someone that I have recently sued in a Florida Circuit Civil case over 3 months ago. The case is still in progress, but he continues to spin false narratives about me. He continues to make false statements as fact. He continues to amp things up through his audience. And I'm just going to continue to keep correcting the record. He also has a live stream planned tonight to supposedly share the real version of correcting the record. And so we're going to preemptively make you aware of what I know he's going to be discussing tonight. And that way, when he does talk about it, you can come back and you can come back and compare it to my stream here, and you'll see that I was already 100 steps ahead of the game. And while the defendant may be playing 4D chess, I'm playing 100D chess and doing it the proper way. My lady is first here as always, respectfully, maturely, and professionally in the house. Hey, my love. Hey, babe. How are you? Welcome to the show. Yeah. I want to start off by doing a little rap for you folks that I haven't done in a while. This is a rap that has been very meaningful to me over the years out here on YouTube, and it makes a lot of sense here. So let's get right to it. Now, everyone out here on YT, put your motherfucking hands up and follow me. Everyone out here on YT, put your motherfucking hands up. Now, while he stands tough, notice that this man did not have his hands up. The real world's got you gassed up. Now, who's afraid of the big bad wolf? I'm not afraid of the big bad wolf. 1, 2, 3 and to the 4. 1 Pac, 2 Pac, 3 Pac, 4. 4 Pac, 3 Pac, 2 Pac, 1. You're Pac, he's Pac, no Pac, none. This guy ain't no motherfucking MC. I know everything he's got to say against me. I know everything he's got to say against me. I know everything he's got to say against me. I know everything he's got to say against me. I do. That's why the show he does tonight is going to be a repeat, an exact repeat of what I tell you here today. Okay? And he's really gassed up, right? The free world's got him so gassed up, right? And he's thinking that everyone's afraid of the big bad wolf. Not me. Not me. But because I know everything he's got to say against me, I'm going to tell you what he's got to say against me and preempt what he does tonight. He can still do what he plans on doing. That's on him. But again, you can hear what I say here 3 hours before he goes live and says the same thing and tries to spin it way out of context for YouTube optics, audience theatrics, audience engagement, right? To keep spinning the false narrative. He can continue to do that. And I'm going to keep correcting the record calmly and respectfully and professionally. But I'm also going to make it a little entertaining because I don't want to bore you folks. And that's my right to do so, right? Let me do a sound check again. But because I know everything he's got to say against me, this guy is definitely not an MC. He thinks he's an MC, but he's not an MC. He's a wannabe MC, in my opinion. I'm entitled in my opinion. Anyway, let's get right to it here. The defendant is doing a stream tonight to say he's the real version of correcting the record. Let's debunk what I already know he's going to discuss about my finances. He's going to try to talk about my finances and try to discredit me in my current circuit civil case lawsuit against him and the future upcoming federal copyright lawsuit I'll be filing once I get my copyright certificates in the mail that I recently filed to register. And here's what's interesting about the defendant. This is what he does. He tests audience engagement through community postings. So he made a few postings yesterday to test how his audience would react. I am noticing a pattern in what he's doing. He tests engagement to see whether a live stream would be warranted and would get good traction and could potentially make him more of what I like to call defamation for dollars, right? Okay. Now, the core truth of the matter, finances are private. His finances are private, and so are mine, and so are everyone else's. I am not seeking business damages or loss of income in the current circuit civil case, and the same thing will be in the federal copyright case once that's filed later this year. Non-economic damages do not require public financial disclosure. Non-economic damages do not require public financial disclosure. Refusing to publish personal finances does not equal hiding anything. Refusing to publish personal finances does not equal hiding anything. I have nothing to hide. It's just not necessary. Calling someone a fraud because they won't post bank records is a false premise. Calling someone a fraud because they won't post bank records is a false premise. That's it. Everything else is noise. Thank you for coming. Have a great day. No, just kidding. There's a lot more. But that's what he's going to spin tonight. He's going to do a play on me trying to file cases and leave my finances out of them, which is my right to do so because I am not suing for lost income. I'm not suing for my business or LLC income. I'm suing for reputational harm. Personally, as Elias Dimitri Melas. You see that? Right here it says Elias Eli Melas. My middle name is Dimitri. My nickname is Eli. Why this preemptively dismantles his entire show on me tonight. Preemption. You state the point before he does. So his reveal lands flat. Frame control. You define the issue as privacy plus relevance, not fear or hiding. I'm not hiding shit. asymmetry. You're walking calm, values-based. Yeah, I do walk. I'll be walking later today. Probably around the time where he's streaming. That's just the time I plan to go live. It has nothing to do with going live at the same time as he is. He's shouting into a mic. Viewers notice. Starve the loop. You don't repeat slurs or argue hypotheticals. No clips for him to farm. Well, he can farm whatever he wants, but it's just going to make him look, in my opinion, worse than he already does. So here's what I have to say about the defendant's planned live stream tonight. Before anyone tries to spin tonight into something it is not, I want to be very clear and very calm about one thing. I am not seeking business damages. I'm pursuing non-economic harms. Because of that, my personal finances are not relevant and they're not required to be disclosed publicly, even through the court cases. I know he's not asking me to put him out on YouTube, but he's talking about it on YouTube for YouTube optics and theatrics. So we're going to correct the record here before he further taints the record tonight on this live stream. Financial information is private. His financial information is private. So is mine. So is yours. So is everyone. So what's the big deal? We're trying to make it a nothing burger, right? This is a nothing burger, like somebody says out there. I'm not going to mention his name. He calls everything a nothing burger. Well, when it comes to the defendant, sir, you're right. It's a nothing burger. I'm just protecting myself and clearing the air and standing up for my reputation. Choosing not to post it on YouTube is not hiding. It is normal. The boundary. Privacy is not guilt. Declining to overshare personal financial details does not make someone a fraud. He's going to try to paint me as a fraud because he's trying to frame it like I'm trying to hide my finances. My finances are irrelevant to these cases because I'm not suing for lost income. I'm suing for reputational harm and injunctive relief. And any other damages that may give me some money are punitive damages, which do not require financial information to be disclosed. Statutory damages in the copyright case, which do not require financial information to be disclosed, right? But he wants to amp it up and lead you to believe that they are required. And because I'm not suing him for loss of income, okay, I may have talked about it in the past where I was going to sue for that, but I chose not to sue for that. And all that matters is what I've chosen to sue and what I've filed with the court and what I will file with the federal copyright court later on this year when I get my copyright certificates. The contrast. If someone wants to argue facts or law, that happens in filings and evidence, not in humiliation theater or comment section dares. The close. I'm here to correct the record calmly and keep moving forward. Anyone can choose where to spend their attention. And calling someone a fraud because they won't publish private finances is a claim without evidence or merit, in my opinion. And I won't dignify it beyond correcting the presence. Or the premises. The premises. Or the premise. Oh, man. I'm all over the place with my reading today. Sorry. And I won't dignify it beyond correcting the premise. You want a mic drop? You want a mic drop like Eminem? Mic drop? Accountability doesn't require surrendering privacy, and truth doesn't get decided by who yells loudest. Again, accountability doesn't require surrendering privacy, and truth doesn't get decided by who yells loudest. Now, let's talk about why the defendant has done this for 6+ years. Why has he created this type of content? Not just on me. It's been primarily about me because I've been the most profitable to him because I'm the most active out here. And he has an audience of people that don't like me, right? But he's been doing this to a lot of people as his content strategy for 6+ years. Does he not understand liability risk? Is he playing the system? Does he assume nobody will sue? Why never stop? This is a realistic behavioral answer, not a diagnosis. I'm not diagnosing. This is a behavioral answer. Number one, it works for him. Attention, control, revenue, and a loyal team of very similar, like-minded people. Number two, low consequence historically. Most targets don't sue. And platforms rarely enforce consistently. That conditions invincibility. So he feels invincible that no matter what happens, I'll keep coming back on another channel. Even if I lose these cases, I'm going to still talk about Eli and all that. You can still talk about me. You just can't defame me or violate my copyright. I've always said that. That's not going to change, case or no case. Number three, system gaming mindset. He treats rules like obstacles to route around. Delete, restart, platform hop, fair use slogans. This lines up with the watch party / strike fear / routing mechanics I've already documented in my records. Number four, audience capture. He can't easily pivot because the audience is there for this. If he stops, engagement drops. That's almost kind of like when Johnny Cochran said, if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. If the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. If he stops, engagement drops. If he stops, engagement drops. Wow. I'll be the new Johnny Cochran right now, right? No disrespect. God rest Johnny Cochran's soul. He's in a better place. Number five, control and humiliation as the product. The repeated taunting tone shows it is not just criticism, it is dominance performance. That's the why. It's not that he's confused. So for those of you out there that have been wondering, what's wrong with this guy? He knows exactly what he's doing. He's choosing this as his content strategy. So that's the why. It is not that he's confused. It is that the incentives reward the behavior. The incentives reward the behavior. Lord Gaelic, how are you doing? Oh, I'm basically suing someone in a circuit civil case in Florida. I'll share more with you behind the scenes. I've mentioned it many times in other streams. But thank you so much for being here, Lord Gaelic. Hope you're having a great new year. Happy New Year to you and your family. Let's paraphrase this in a nutshell. Here's what we'll be going into detail today. What you're watching is not normal disagreement. It is a repeat pattern. Distort a fact, add a personal smear, then reward the most extreme comments to keep the pylon going. They keep saying protected speech like it's a magic phrase that turns any statement into truth. That's not how reality works, and it is not how the courts work. Notice the move. When facts get uncomfortable, they pivot to humiliation, age jokes, relationship insults, and insinuations. Like the defendant's girlfriend says, I'm like 65 years old. I'm 52, ma'am. Let's see. Because humiliation is how they keep the audience emotionally hooked. On the copyright side, they're deliberately confusing people. Statutory damages are a copyright remedy tied to registration timing. within the first 90 days, as long as you file within 90 days of whatever you publish, you are entitled to file for statutory damages that, again, do not require you to open up your financials. It's based on the statute. It's not based on lost revenue. It has nothing to do with hiding business finances. And I am not suing for LLC revenue. Again, I'm not suing for LLC revenue in my Florida case. The comment section is the tell. It is not about accountability. It is about validation. The crueler the comment, the more it gets rewarded. That's the culture they've built. And to be clear, I'm not here to insult anyone back. I'm here to correct the record and document a pattern of targeted, monetized harassment. Now, does it make it right what the defendant is doing? No, absolutely not. And here's the clean reasoning why. Why it doesn't make it right. Ethical plus common sense. Popularity doesn't equal truth. A loud comment section isn't evidence. Number two, humiliation isn't accountability. Name calling and insinuations aren't public interest. Number three, using someone as a revenue object is wrong. Defamation for dollars is the moral issue you're pointing at. Turning a person, me, into a product. Number four, protected speech isn't a blank check. Protected speech isn't a blank check. Even in everyday life, you don't get to destroy someone's reputation with insinuations and then hide behind a slogan. Number five, echo chambers reward cruelty. The group dynamic makes it feel justified, but it is still harmful behavior. Now, even if you call it commentary, it doesn't make it right to build a content strategy around humiliating someone, making insinuations, and then inviting your audience to pile on. The fact that it gets views doesn't make it true, and it doesn't make it ethical. Now, the defendant made two postings yesterday that need massive correction. Okay? What I am about to present clarifies exactly what the defendant is trying to blur in those two posts he made over the last 20 hours or so. This has been my observable and constant behavior on how the defendant has been operating on YouTube for the last 6+ years. And I will properly, clearly, and concisely correct the record. Statutory damages isn't me trying to dodge proof of harm in my Florida defamation case. It is a separate remedy structure that can become available in a federal copyright case. And only if registration timing requirements are met and the registrations issue. Now, I've also clarified the most important clean fact pattern for the record. I registered the 3 streams as Elias Dimitri Melas, an individual, nothing to do with my LLC, on 12/27/25 last week. Tied to specific dated streams, 12/24/2025, 12/25/2025 on Christmas Day, and 12/26/2025, the day after Christmas. And specific watch party rebroadcasts by the defendant tied to those same dates. That's exactly the kind of timeline that's easy for normal people and a judge to understand. So here's what we're going to do to correct the truth, okay? Number one, a close comment-by-comment behavioral analysis, especially from the defendant's girlfriend, who's anonymous out here on YouTube, and the defendant himself, plus other insults. Number two, my responses. And number three, a blunt opinion on whether this group's behavior is normal without diagnosing and why they act like this even after being contradicted. This will be focused on observable behavior patterns, persuasion dynamics, and what needs correcting, not labels or mental health claims. So, is this group's behavior normal? It is common online, but it is not normal in a healthy, grounded, reality-based sense. It is a recognizable internet pile-on pattern. So what's not normal behaviorally? They treat humiliation as a group sport. They call me the CUCK. They call me a loser, a fraud, sundowners, etc. That's not debate. That's social aggression as entertainment. They reward escalation. The nastier the jab, the more approval it gets, likes, replies, attention from the defendant. They crowdsource a narrative. One person floats a claim, shows receipts, mommy's ATM, he threatened X, he wants to dox her, and others reinforce it until it becomes true inside the group, even if it is never substantiated. They conflate legal topics intentionally. Defamation damages versus copyright statutory damages, because confusion benefits the storyteller. There's a difference between defamation and copyright. There's a difference between a Florida Circuit civil case and a U.S. federal copyright case, where the U.S. federal court system is the only court system that has jurisdiction over copyright issues. So why do they behave this way without diagnosing them? Okay. Here's the engine I'm going to describe. And this is not me imagining it. Number one, parasocial allegiance plus identity. For some commenters, defending the defendant isn't about facts. It is about belonging. They want to feel like they're a part of something. And the defendant's group makes these people feel like they're important. If the defendant is wrong, they feel they look foolish for investing time, emotion, and public comments. Here's the big one I've always talked about. Number two, cognitive dissonance reduction. When reality conflicts with their storyline, they don't update the storyline. They attack the messenger. Example, instead of engaging copyright watch party substitution, they pivot to your business is fake, you're old, you're jealous. Number three, moral licensing and dehumanization. Once they frame you as fraud, CUCK, loser, they give themselves permission to say anything. That's how you get casual cruelty plus invented details plus ageist shots, like the defendant's girlfriend said, I'm 65 years old. I'm 52, ma'am. I just had my birthday last month on December 17th. I was born December 17th, 1973, man. Number 4, status and validation economy. In these threads, attention is currency. The fastest way to earn attention is not accuracy. It is performance. Bigger insult, bigger laugh, bigger certainty. Number 5, narrative immunity through vagueness. They use slippery phrasing. Everyone knows. We all know. It is obvious. Purely speculation. Protected speech. That lets them imply factual claims while dodging accountability. So what's actually happening is a validation loop where being on the team matters more than being right. Let me repeat that one more time. So what's actually happening is a validation loop where being on the team matters more than being right. We're at 31 minutes. Not bad. Now, the core cognitive dissonance in the defendant's 2 posts, along with the comments in those posting sections. In the sections of those postings, I mean. Dissonance number 1. He has no business, nothing to lose, versus he's a fraud living off money sources. They can't have it both ways, but they try. If there's nothing there, then there's nothing to expose. If they're alleging hidden money sources and fraud, then they're implicitly claiming there is money and there are real world facts which would require actual evidence, not vibes. One big contradiction, right? Dissonance number 2. He shouldn't talk about this while suing versus please respond so we get more attention. So on one hand, the defendant says I shouldn't be talking about the case I filed against him for defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, abuse of process, and even malicious prosecution. He tried to get a stalking order on me a few months before I filed it. He said I shouldn't talk about it, but he hasn't stopped defaming me since I filed the case. So am I going to just sit back and allow him to continue to tarnish my reputation, which is why I sued him for in the first place? The wheels of justice turn slowly. So I'm going to do the right thing. I'm just correcting the record in a calm way, and I'm not doing anything wrong. And this is my freedom of speech to do so. But his contradiction, he shouldn't talk about this while suing versus please respond so we get more attention. The defendant literally says, and I paraphrase this, I'm fine with you responding because it boosts my posts and makes you look dumb. That's not an argument about truth. It is an admission that the goal is engagement extraction. Dissonance number 3. Fair use no matter the amount used comment versus I'm worried about strikes / I might delete and redo. On one hand, he's saying, I can use as much of your content as I want and it's automatically fair use. And the 4 factors of fair use don't apply to me. I'm immune to the 4 factors of fair use in Section 107 of U.S. copyright law. I rewrote the copyright law myself. Come on. This is the classic tell. Publicly, they claim certainty. Operationally, they behave like someone managing risk. So let's correct the comments within these postings. Okay? Paraphrased here. I'm sharing this as I'm correcting the record. Statements that address their behavior plus claims without getting dragged into their insult war. I don't want to get dragged into the insult war. I mean, they're going to do it regardless, but I'm just correcting the record. Number one, the show receipts / declare everything / yearly income statements line. What they're doing, presenting discovery like a punishment fantasy. I'll force him to, he's going to try to force me to show my books in the court cases where I'm not suing for anything that requires me to open up my books. Trying to intimidate and shame. So a big theme in their comments is this obsession with forcing receipts like a court is a humiliation ritual. Court is not a bullying stage. Discovery is a structured process with relevance and proportionality. And none of that changes the basic issue. You don't get to make up factual claims about someone and then treat the courtroom like a content arc. You don't get to make up factual claims about someone and then treat the courtroom like a content arc. Number two, his channels are a graveyard. Show the judge he's a hopeless loser. What they're doing, replacing evidence with mockery, trying to make popularity equal truth. Notice the move. When they can't address facts, they try to convert engagement into proof. Popularity isn't truth, and a comment section isn't evidence of whether something was said, republished, monetized, or infringed, like copyright infringement. Number three, the anonymous girlfriend. He's mad he can't dox her, claims. And that wasn't her saying that. That was some other quite strange person that comments in the defendant's section, or in the defendant's comment sections. And this guy has tried to comment on my live streams and in my comment sections on many different sock accounts. I've just banned him every time. It's not worth it. What they're doing, smuggling in a serious insinuation. You want to dox someone without proof. I don't want to dox anyone, but if it's necessary to subpoena someone in court for acting in concert and amplifying false statements as facts, then at that point we'll do it the proper legal way through the court system. They keep inventing motives like he wants to dox someone. That's not an argument. It is a story. I am not here to dox anyone or anybody. I'm here to correct the record about what's being said and what's being done publicly. The defendant's, he's jealous, beautiful girl he'll never have, plus sexual insinuation reply. The defendant keeps saying, my girlfriend is so hot. She's so much hotter than your girlfriend. She's younger. She's fertile. She's this and that, right? Well, good for you. Good for you. But, I mean, if you want to have kids with her, you can't do that over the internet, sir. You've got to, move in with her or have her move in with you. So, I mean, and I'm happy. I love Dawn is beautiful. To me, Dawn is the hottest woman in the world. And that's all that matters. And it doesn't matter what you think or what anyone else thinks out here on YouTube, anywhere else on the internet, or anywhere else in the real world. But you've got to flex your muscles. You've got this hot girlfriend, right? And the funny thing is, you met up with her one time from what I've heard. And you watch movies together over the internet. Okay? Yeah, I'm not going to speculate any other things, that may be happening over the internet, but I'm just saying, I'm happy that I live with my girlfriend. She's been living with me for over 3 years, and it's all good. Hey, Great Expectations. The defendant is a disgrace to humanity. I think he's more a disgrace to himself. GLM, how are you doing? GLM, I think these people know exactly what's happened, and we'll address that probably maybe later today on my Walking with Purpose stream. Oh no, we're never going to ban GLM. We're just going to ask everyone to kind of tone down the insults and stuff. But anyway. You know, I think that soccer count, and I'm going to ban them because I think that is the defendant or someone on his end trying to put insults out there and then use that against me on his stream tonight. So, great expectations. We're not looking to insult people here. I'm not looking to insult the defendant. I think that's either him or someone on his end coming in here saying those things so they can say, look what Eli allows in his chat. Nice try. ODN's in the house. How you doing, broski? We are at 41 minutes. So what they're doing, sexualized humiliation, plus baiting me into reacting. When the facts are not strong, they pivot to juvenile status games, jealousy, looks, sex, humiliation. That's not a defense of anything. It's a distraction tactic designed to provoke a clip. Clip me all you want, sir. Number 5, the defendant's I'm totally fine with you responding. It brings more attention. What this is, accidental honesty. It frames the purpose as attention siphoning, not truth. He openly says he wants me to respond because it benefits his posts. That tells you the goal. Engagement extraction. If this were about truth, you wouldn't need bait. You'd need evidence. You've got none. Number 6, the defendant's girlfriend. Where are the bank records, clients, contracts? What they're doing, mixing defamation case damages proof with copyright statutory damages and using that confusion to claim you have nothing. So they're mixing in 2 cases, one of which does not exist yet because before I can file that, which I will later on this year in 2026, I need to wait for the U.S. Copyright Office, aka the U.S. Library of Congress, to approve and mail me out my copyright certificates. So they're mixing defamation case damages proof with copyright statutory damages and using that confusion to claim that I have nothing. Okay, we'll see about that. They're intentionally blending 2 different subjects. In my Florida case, I'm pursuing reputational and other non-economic harms, and the court process handles proof. Separately, in federal copyright law, statutory damages can apply if registrations are timely and issued. Those are different legal frameworks. Confusing the 2 is the point. It is not an argument. He wants you all to be confused because he wants you all to make it appear like I'm stupid and don't know what the heck I'm doing. Okay? Sounds good, Eli? Yeah. Okay, thanks, Jill. I'm 1 minute delay between what I say and what goes out on these in-studio streams. I can behave. I need to be put in the corner sometimes. We all do, even myself, GLM. GLM, sometimes Dawn puts me in timeout, and I put her in timeout. It's all good. At the end of the day, there's still love. Lots of it, right? We got 49 in the box, making it rain. Maybe it's time to change the content strategy for tonight's stream on the defendant's channel. 50 in the box, making it rain, 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 right? I'm surprised he's not rebroadcasting me, but he doesn't want to give me any more evidence for my federal copyright case coming up, right? And he's going to say, no, I'm not doing that. I'm just choosing not to do it. Number 7, the defendant further ridicules me in the comments section. Sundowners, mentally 8 years old, boomer. Oh yeah, I'm mentally 8 years old. What they're doing? Age-based ridicule and pseudo-medical slurs. Wow, fantastic. This is what it turns into. Age insults and fake medical talk. That's not commentary. It is dehumanization. Part of my case. In both the civil case, the circuit civil case, and the copyright case, is going to be about dehumanization. That'll destroy your fair use argument, sir. And there's a lot more that will destroy it too. It's how people justify saying anything without accountability. Number 8, the non-party lady states that I love to tell half stories and it makes her sick. I tell the full story. You folks only share what's going to get your audience to believe the false narrative so they can come around, then you can siphon donations from them. What they're doing, emotional certainty replacing specifics. Emotional certainty replacing specifics. They speak in sweeping feelings, half stories, sick to my stomach, but they don't quote accurately. They don't timestamp. They don't show full context. Emotion isn't evidence. The one big main correction I want to make crystal clear about is statutory damages. The defendant keeps using the phrase statutory damages to imply I'm hiding something. That's misinformation. Statutory damages is a copyright concept. It can become available when timely registrations are issued. And it is about unauthorized copying and substitution. Not about me proving I lost a client. They're changing the subject on purpose. They're trying to shift the focus away from the actual laws that I feel he's violated. That's the clean record correction. And that deprives them of their favorite confusion tool, right? That's the clean record correction that deprives them of their favorite confusion tool. Hey, I did my M&M at the beginning of the stream. When the replay comes back, you got to go and watch that, GLM. You and ODN and the rest of you missed that. So what's actionable versus just insults? Higher risk factual assertions more than mere name calling. Fraud framing plus mommy's ATM insinuations, implying dishonesty, hidden financial truth. None of that is true. Claims about what you admitted and what your finances are. The G&A doesn't make a whole lot of money. I have stated we make about maybe like $200 to $300 a month on YouTube, and we're still building. That doesn't mean I don't have other income sources. And I don't have to get into that. That's none of his business. It doesn't matter. None of it matters because I'm not claiming loss of income on anything. He wants to find a way to get my financials for my organization, which I'm already putting out there and saying that we make about $200 to $300 a month. Right? For what? Oh, for what? And my financials have nothing to do with defamation, with copyright infringement. He's trying to make it sound like because I'm not making a lot of money, I'm not entitled to file for copyright infringement. That I'm not entitled to sue someone for defamation of character. Those torts have nothing to do with money. They have to do with reputational harm, and they have to do Copyright has to do with basically using my content and basically harming my content in a way where he benefits more from it than I do. Suggestions: you threatened others, want to dox someone, or run a platform to threaten and intimidate people. Those can cross from insult into factual accusation depending on how stated. And lower value, more insults, mostly performance, CUCK, loser, hopeless, graveyard, etc. equals ugly, but largely opinion territory. I'll give him that, no problem. So let's separate the two. Here's the difference. Here are the factual claims they're pushing. Here are the insults they use to distract from the factual claims. So on one hand, they're pushing false factual claims about me, and then they're using insults to distract from the actual factual claims. I'm staying calm and systematic while they are performing for an audience and attention. And the final part here. Here's what it all boils down to regarding the defendant's content strategy for the last 6+ years. This is a pattern. Confuse topics, bait a response, farm attention, escalate insults, and call it commentary. This is how I will continue to show the public the mechanism of the defendant's content strategy for as long as necessary until he stops his public smear campaign on me out here on YouTube and anywhere else he may be doing it. And that's that. We are at 52 minutes. Let me check out the chat. I'm not recording the chat on the screen again today. Everybody over there is always doing stuff like that. It's their MO. You're right. ODN, if you missed parts of this, you got to go back and watch the replay. And I want to end up, at first I was saying, this guy ain't no motherfucking MC. I know everything he's got to say against me. I am white. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but you know. 8 Mile, Eminem. He destroyed Papa Doc because he came out on stage and said, hey, this is who I am. All you're going to do is repeat everything I say and have nothing new. Which, what happened? He gave the mic to Papa Doc and said, here, tell these people something they don't know about me. Boom. And he threw the mic at Papa Doc. Here, tell these people something they don't know about me. And then the MC said, Papa Doc, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? So, coming soon, later tonight, at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, on the Defendant's channel, it's gonna be Papa Doc, what you gonna do? What you gonna do, Papa Doc? Eminem said everything, just like I did, right? And what happened? They started playing their music. Dun, 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 down, down. And they kept playing the music, And then Papa Doc is like, yo. And he's like, I'm out. He got me. He got me. He took the words literally right out of my mouth. He came out and said, this is who I am. And if you don't like me, go fuck yourself. Right? That's what he said, in other words. Right? But remember, during the second part of when Eminem at first was saying, I'm I know everything you've got to say against me. Then Eminem goes, but I know something about you. You went to Cranbrook. That's a private school. Yeah. What's the matter, dog? You embarrassed? This guy's a gangster? Question mark. His real name is Clarence, and Clarence lives at home with both parents, and Clarence's parents have a real good marriage, right? Now, I think Clarence's parents have an interesting marriage. I think Clarence's parents, we don't know if they really have a real good marriage, but we know it's interesting, right? It's an interesting marriage, right? Right now, he's watching and I'm saying, what's the matter, dog? You embarrassed? You think you're the YouTube OG, original gangsta? You think you're the MC of YouTube? You think you own everyone and everything out here? You think that you own the U.S. Copyright Office? You think that you own the state court system and what's defamatory and what's not? You think you own the Constitution, sir? What else do you think that you own, sir? What else do you think that you own and you feel entitled to? Exactly. Now he's live reacting because he knows I took his stream away from tonight. So I knew he was going to go live. Ha ha ha. Give me a second here. All right. All right, we're back. We're back. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me clearly and see me clearly. Put a one in the chat. I want to make sure that I'm going through because I knew it. I knew he was going to go live. He just proved to me that I just completely destroyed his show tonight. And listen, when you know people are going to do a show to state false statements as facts about you and to try to, stir up more drama and controversy in their group, yeah, that's what he did. He used the community postings to see who would react and gauge whether it was worthy of doing a live stream on. And now I'd be surprised if he goes live at 5 o'clock tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern his time, because he knows that he was going to talk about everything I talked about here. So, in essence, me correcting the record basically triggered him to the point of where he had to go live. And now he's giving me more proof of rebroadcasting me for my federal copyright case to come. And he's playing this right on his stream while I'm saying it, right? I have the right to correct the record when someone like him is constantly making false statements as facts, right? He does not have the right to run watch parties. I've got the chat recorded. I've got everything that's being said there, the date, the title, his own voice. Hey, Tia, how are you doing? Great to see you here. I want to mention one more thing here before I go off the air. That's very important to mention. Then I really got to go because Don and I have some errands to run. And then I'm going to be going live from a walk. Okay. I want to mention that what I said a few days ago regarding even my moderators was a general blanket basic statement. We need to do better. We need to show that we're better than people that are coming at us because that's the nature of the organization. But I also want to make it very clear once again and remind even the standard moderators that there are 3 managing moderators here that can moderate you. And those 3 managing moderators are 1, my girlfriend, Dawn, respectfully, maturely, and professionally. Number 2, Sandra Palacio. And number 3, Tia, who's here in the chat. All 3 of them are managing moderators. And what they cannot do, they can't ban standard moderators, but they can time out standard moderators up to 24 hours or delete their messages. And they have the full reign to do that. Now, ODN is new on the executive team, and we are considering giving him managing mod access. I'm going to talk more with you about that behind the scenes, ODN. Right now, he's a standard mod. The 3 managing mods are Dawn, Sandra, and Tia. And they have full authority to make their own decision on removing comments or timing out or banning anyone. And when it comes to standard moderators, they can't ban them, but they have full authority to even time out standard moderators up to 24 hours and or delete their messages. Thank you for the 1. Appreciate it. And if I came off in a way where people misunderstood me about what I said the other day, then I apologize for that. But, the big dog is barking in the other room. I think there may be a deer in the backyard. And Don is trying to tell it to get over here. Get your behind over here. Damn, I can hear Don in here with my headphones on with the door closed. Oh my God. Wow. It's all good. Oh, look what he's doing. He's looking to see my numbers. He's looking to see, he is basically proven in real time. He's looking up, okay, his numbers are going down. I'm siphoning more of his engagement in real time here. I had a stream scheduled. He did his stream, not using my content. He's correcting the record. And because he basically, stole my parade tonight on how I was going to lie about him, he corrected the record. I had to go live right now. And now I'm checking to see how many of his viewers am I taking in real time, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, keep going, man. Keep going. I cannot wait to file that federal copyright case. I cannot wait to file that federal copyright case. So you going live tonight, sir? I bet you he cancels his show or does something else. And that will prove something. And if he does do that, we'll talk more about that on the walk tonight. And then maybe I'll do another in-studio stream later tonight. We're going to keep going. We're going to debunk all his lies. We're going to call him out every time that he tries to steal my content, that he defames me, that he makes up all these ridiculous lies to try to paint me in a false light. We're going to debunk it every single time until he stops or until the court stops it. He's more concerned about how much engagement he siphoned. Now we're down to 20 because, look, and I'm screen recording this in real time. This is going to go right to the federal judge and possibly even the circuit civil judge. I mean, you can't make this up, folks. You cannot make this up. Like This guy just does not want to be held accountable. He thinks he's invincible to the law. He thinks he's entitled, like ODN says, like he's entitled to people's lives, and he's entitled to use as much of someone else's copyrighted content, and there's nothing they can do about it. He thinks that defamation is protected by the First Amendment. Anyway, I gotta go. I'll see you all in a few hours on the walk. Love you all. If you have a quote, babe, I'd put it in there right now. I'm going to wait just another minute or so. If you have another quote, put it in there. But I called it. I called it. I knew he was going to go live. As soon as he knew I was taking away his parade tonight and talked about and debunked everything that he was going to talk about, he had no choice but to go live because he now knows he has no show tonight. It proves it to me. Let's see what he does. Don't listen to what he says. Look at what he does. Look at what he does. Give me a second. So let me make something very clear here, Gemma. I'm going to correct the record because you are a YouTuber, and I'm going to correct the record. You're stating that the defendant uses my content for fair use under YouTube guidelines. Let me make it very clear to you, Gemma, that YouTube does not adjudicate copyright. YouTube has to take things down if a proper DMCA copyright takedown is filed. They don't adjudicate copyright disputes. Only the federal copyright court does. So you're wrong about that. I'm correcting the record and can keep on whining and crying in the chat, and you will all see what eventually happens. Keep trying to find things that you think I'm doing wrong because you think you know the law when you don't know shit for the law. You don't. You absolutely don't. Yeah, you like that Clarence parents, right? All right. Looks like there's no quote from Don. All right, sorry about that. No quote from Don on this show. So we're gonna go. See you all in just a little bit. Have a good one. Take care, and as always, be good to each other. See you all later from the walk. Bye for now, everyone.